Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 6.
Last year was $8.50 for 10, and this year it's $10 for 10. It doesn't seem like a big of a jump, but for some families, that's every penny counts.
Some students currently riding buses in Grand Forks could lose their ride to school. The Grand Forks Public School District doesn't have its own fleet of school buses, so it contracts with Dietrich Bus Services to get students to and from school. This means each student has to pay to ride the bus. Recently, the school district ran out of funds that helped low-income families get bus tickets for their kids. A concerned parent reached out to our Whistleblower Hotline, and our Valley News team's Maddie Jelseth investigated what the district plans to do to fix this funding problem.
Jennifer Doak is a mom of 4. To get all of her kids' tickets to ride the school bus for 1 week, it'll now cost her $40. Because there's no more money in the Student Transportation Fund for low-income families in the Grand Forks Public School District.
Right now, it's basically we're SOL.
Doak says she's frustrated because she feels like the district puts more focus on other things rather than what's important for kids to get an education.
My concern is making sure that the school does stay up on top of it, because it doesn't seem like they prioritize that some days.
But the superintendent of the school says they do have a plan to help sponsor families who are in need.
Right now, with Giving Hearts, with Denim Day, and with our corporate advertising sponsorship, I believe we're going to be able to help our families through this year for sure. But then we're going to have to put the pencil to paper to see, if our poverty rates in the community continue to increase, we might have to look at, again, different mechanisms.
Dr. Brunner is asking parents to hang in there for a few more weeks so the school district can generate enough revenue to give bus tickets to families in need. But Dr. Brunner says parents are expected to pay for the tickets or find alternative ways to get their kids to school. In Grand Forks, Maddie Jelseth, Valley News Live.
Superintendent Brenner said that there has been talks about having the Grand Forks School District get its own bus fleet, but it's ultimately up to the school board to decide. If you have a concern in your community, here's some advice. Call our Whistleblower Hotline. The phone number's there on your screen, 701-237-6576. Call that number and leave your tip. A member of our investigative team will go to work to uncover the truth. Cheyenne High School in West Fargo went into its 3rd lockdown of the week this morning after school officials say a student had a seizure from a fight in a hallway. The school district says it has 2 kinds of lockdowns and that all 3 lockdowns this week have been administrative, meaning there was no threat to anyone inside. Valley News Team's crime and safety reporter Bailey Hurley joins us in the studio with more on the different lockdowns. Bailey?
Thanks, Mike. West Fargo school officials say they have 2 types of lockdowns. They go into administrative and human threat lockdowns. Officials say an administrative lockdown can be called for medical emergencies like today, or for a number of other things, such as canine searches. They say in these lockdowns, students are still learning and just asked to stay in their classrooms, so the halls are clear for emergency crews or police. However, after 3 lockdowns in a week, a number of parents and students I talked with are concerned using the word lockdown might be overkill, saying it's triggering and causes worry, prompting me to ask school officials if there could be a change in the way those situations are classified.
We did have that conversation. It needs to be a larger conversation with all of the districts that make up the unified response team. But I do understand why parents become anxious. However, the staff and the students do know what those terms mean and are trained.
Slutty says 14 districts in the area all use the same 2 types of classifications for lockdowns, adding that if there is going to be a different term for administrative lockdowns, it will have to be agreed on by all 14 districts. Mike.
All right, thanks, Bailey. School officials say the fight is still under investigation by the West Fargo Police Department and also say that criminal charges are pending. For much more on what the school district has to say about today's lockdown, go to our website, valleynewslive.com, and click on this story. Today's drop in temperature was noticeable. We're still above average, which is fine, I think, by most. Let's check in with Hutch for the latest on tonight's weather planner.
Mike, tonight we have had reports of some reduced visibility. That's taking place in northeast North Dakota, so some fog a possibility as we go through the evening. Most of us here in the Red River Valley will see gray skies and temperatures that will slowly fall as a result. Wind fairly light, but still with a northerly component as we go into the early overnight hours. Grand Forks, a little bit cooler. I'm expecting teens there with some patchy fog. Now, we do have some weekend snow for some travelers ahead of the holiday. I'll have details on that. And post-Christmas snowstorm, I'll have the latest on that trip home forecast as well.
And that's important, too. Thanks, Hutch.
You bet.
12 units of a South Moorhead apartment building were evacuated over the noon hour as firefighters knocked down flames in a third-floor apartment. It happened along the 3200 block of 9th Street South. No one was home in the apartment when the fire started. There was significant smoke damage there, water damage to the apartments on the lower floors. No one was hurt. No word yet on what caused the fire. Fargo police are asking for your help in locating a sex offender who is wanted on a warrant out of Georgia for a sex offender registry violation. 54-year-old Dwight Andrews is believed to be in the Fargo area. He's a black male, 5 feet 11 inches tall, weighs 150 pounds. He has brown eyes and black hair. Andrews' criminal history includes child molestation, robbery, battery, aggravated assault, false imprisonment, and criminal trespass. If you have any information on his whereabouts, you are asked to call police. Emerado police are warning the public about a high-risk sex offender living in the area. James Everett is living at 10 West Court Drive in Emerado. Everett is 5 feet 5 inches tall, weighs 160 pounds, with brown hair and blue eyes. If you have any questions, please call Emerado Police. Legislation aiming to combat the crisis of missing and murdered Indians is on its last legs with Congress. With just hours left in the 115th Congress, North Dakota U.S. Senator Heidi Heitkamp's bill is stalled in the House of Representatives. Our Washington Bureau's Peter Zampa reports that the legislation has support in Indian country, but people in high places on Capitol Hill could be putting up roadblocks.
If it doesn't pass, then that's going to be an impediment.
Mark Fox is wary of the sly dealings on Capitol Hill. The MHA Nation Tribal Chairman hopes North Dakota Senator Heidi Heitkamp secures one last win as she prepares to leave Congress.
We're hoping that that will lead itself to more federal support.
The bill in question, Savannas Act, aims to better equip the federal government to address cases of missing and murdered Indians on reservations and in urban areas. The legislation recently passed unanimously in the Senate, and Heitkamp was hopeful it would become law. But she says House Judiciary Chairman Bob Goodlatte is trying to kill it because he doesn't like the scope of the bill.
That represents a level of ignorance about what the problem is.
With just hours left in this current Congress, Heitkamp says it's disappointing that one person is holding the bill hostage. If reintroduced in the new Congress, Heitkamp won't be around should it cross the finish line, and she says that could take 2 years.
I don't think Bob Goodlatte is holding the Savannas Act up.
Congressman Kevin Cramer will soon take over Heitkamp's Senate seat, but for now remains a Republican in the House. He says the reality is no one member is blocking the legislation. He thinks it just took too long to pass in the Senate.
I wish we could have gotten this bill a couple of months ago and worked it through the system.
If it doesn't pass by the end of this Congress, the process would have to completely restart in 2019. In Washington, Peter Zampa, Valley News Live.
We've reached out multiple times to Congressman Bob Goodlatte's office for an interview or a comment, but we have not heard back. If you're looking for a little holiday spirit, why not head down to the Red River Zoo? You can get in free right now until 8 o'clock tonight. In fact, that's a porcupine and a live shot from the Red River Zoo right now. The free 6 to 8 times will continue through Saturday. You'll be able to take in free carousel rides, have animal encounters, zookeeper talks, sledding, and campfires. And to help support the zoo's winter operations, any free will donations will be accepted.